and good afternoon, everyone. It's a great pleasure to be speaking to you all today, particularly about such an exciting project. My name is Stuart Cairns. I'm a partner and head of the Major Projects Group in Bird & Bird. And as Max said, I just would like to talk you through some of the key aspects of the procurement process we're going to be adopting on this project. Now, all of Kadeco's procurements are run in accordance with EU or EEA utilities procurement rules. And the aim of those rules is to open up the purchasing by public bodies and utilities such as Kadeco on a pan-European basis. So it's very much about open competition. And Kadeco is genuinely committed to that goal. And this procurement process will be as open and indeed as lean as possible. You know, we are absolutely mindful of the cost and time it takes to bid for such a complex appointment. And we will reflect that throughout the procurement process. And of course, we're also mindful of the types of commercially sensitive information that we will want bidders to share with us as their solutions developed. And we will be very mindful of that throughout. So the principles of transparency, equal treatment, and non-discrimination will be at the heart of everything we do, at the heart of every decision we take from now, as we're in this pre-market engagement exercise, right through the formal process. Having said that, you know, we are also keen that you develop a trust and an understanding of what we want to do. So again, one of the most fundamental principles of the process that we adopt will be an opportunity and a drive to proactively engage from the very outset with Kadeco to make sure that you understand what it lies behind the project, what the genuine ambition is for that project, and to make sure ultimately that if there are any issues, they can be dealt with quickly and effectively so that everyone gets to bid on exactly the same basis, and ultimately so that a very robust, confident decision can be made at the end of the competition. In terms of our role, Bird & Bird's an international law firm. We have over 1,200 lawyers working across a global network of 31 offices in 20 countries. I've been very lucky in the last 3 years to work extensively in Iceland on some of the biggest, most exciting projects that are being delivered on this island. You know, in particular, the redevelopment of the airport and the rapid transit system within Reykjavik. And we'll be acting as Kadeco's lead legal and procurement consultants throughout. And we'll have a number of different roles and objectives. In the first instance, we want to help them deliver a robust and transparent procurement process in line with procurement law. That's got to be an absolute given for us. But more importantly, in many ways, we're really keen that the process itself supports collaboration, that it drives innovation, that it encourages proactive, robust engagement. And in our experience of advising on hundreds of similarly complex projects, that's key to getting the best proposals at the end of the competition. Max and Palmi, in fact, have both talked about the importance of getting the right partner. And we see the challenge as being identifying partners who can genuinely add value. You know, partners who understand how you make a project such as this successful, who understand from experience what you need to develop a site of this scale and to develop a site in that position adjacent to an international airport, as is the case here. And of course, it's important that as well as getting the procurement process right, we also have in place contractual arrangements which are both fair and reasonable. And that will be the starting point. We want to put in place a fair contract that places risk with the party best able to handle it. So I'll be leading the legal team, supported by colleagues from a number of our different offices. In terms of the opportunity itself, you know, it's important that Kadeco appoints a partner with a proven track record in similar projects. So when we start the formal process in April, you'll see that that is at the core of what we do, particularly in the context of developing a shortlist to enter into a negotiation. The value that a partner of that type can add in terms of the understanding of what works in the context of a major site at an international airport is extremely important to Kadeco, and you will see that that is a key theme for us. It's anticipated and absolutely demonstrated by the nature and number of international organisations that have signed up for this today and that have completed and returned our pre-market engagement questionnaire, that this is a competition of international interest. That's important to us. We want the expertise, but it can't be forgotten that it's also equally important that any partner has a knowledge of the Icelandic market, can engage in the Icelandic language as and when necessary, and is familiar with the Icelandic regulatory environment. So we're very much looking for a partner with a balanced approach. In terms of the process, this is how it sets out at a very high level. We are in the first phase, the pre-market engagement phase. And as you know, in addition to this event today, we also invited potentially interested parties to complete and return a short questionnaire. And we had a fantastic response to that, and I thank you for that. There were some interesting and consistent themes and trends coming through the responses. So, for example, and perhaps not unsurprisingly, nearly every respondent was of the view that a stipend should be paid to a company seeking to respond to this opportunity. There was a range of views as to what level that stipend should be set at, but it was absolutely unanimous that any stipend should be set at a level which is relative to the amount of effort, particularly the amount of design effort that will be demanded by the procurement process, and we will very much bear that in mind. Again, there was a range of views on whether a fixed fee could be secured through the procurement process. And in the most part, I think respondents felt that that was possible, provided that the scope was clear and the duration of the appointment to develop the master plan was clear, then it should be possible to come up with a fixed fee for this aspect of the appointment. And again, we will bear that in mind. As regards the scope itself, we got good feedback. It was clear that in the most part, respondents thought it was very comprehensive. There were some suggestions around additional emphasis on very important aspects of the brief, such as sustainability, environmental concerns, and stakeholder engagement. And again, we will take that on board before we cast the final scope. And then finally, we also asked about specialism around cargo and also around local engagement. And again, it was largely unanimous that they should be integral to the bid teams. And once again, we will take that on board. So we move now from the pre-market engagement to a phase where we will finish the development of our procurement strategy and our procurement documentation and ultimately advertise this opportunity through the official journal of the European Union. We are keen, notwithstanding the fantastic interest up to now, we're keen that when we do advertise that as many organisations who are able to bid are aware of the opportunity. So that advert will go out in April, and it will announce the first formal step in the process, which will be developing a short list of bidders. We are extremely keen to get a short list of competent, experienced bidders who are absolutely committed to this project in the same way that we all are. So that selection phase will be very robust. It will test recent relevant experience of similar schemes. And as I say, will be released in April. Once we do that, our intention is to shortlist up to 5 bidders. We're still determining whether that should be 5 or a number slightly less than that, but we will confirm at the point of formal commencement of the procurement. But in any case, all bidders who are invited into the next phase of the procurement, the negotiation, will be provided with a very high level of detail on the process, great access to the team and the stakeholders to develop proposals, and ultimately supported through a process that encourages constructive engagement, that is very much about how we can support shortlisted bidders in developing proposals that meet the needs of Kadeco and the various stakeholders. So we're all about communication, we're all about engagement, and ultimately our ambition through the process is to get to a point that by the time we have final tenders, Palmy could go to his board confident that all or any of the final tenders would be acceptable and that they're of the highest quality. So we'll move through that to an award stage, hopefully around October. This is the timetable as was set out in the pre-market engagement document. We remain committed to sticking to it as best we can. So our current intention is to release the contract notice announcing the commencement of the formal process by the end of April, moving to an award by the end of October. It is ambitious, but we have a team in place to deliver that, and we will be working very hard to commit to it. It is also mindful, again, of this point around how extensive the engagement is for bidders looking to become involved and win an opportunity such as this. So it will be lean where it can be lean, and it will be focused on all the most important aspects of identifying a partner for such an important role. In terms of the negotiation itself, it is genuinely an opportunity for bidders to propose solutions to Kadeco to then get feedback on those proposals such that they can be optimized and developed through to final tender, and they will be of the highest quality. To ensure consistency and going back again to this principle of transparency, equal treatment and non-discrimination, all bidders will be given the same access, the same quality of information, and it'll be conducted in a way which makes sure everyone is treated exactly the same. So Kadeco will manage that very carefully. But importantly, bidders will be encouraged to set the agenda for the meetings, to drive the conversation in the direction that allows them to develop the very best proposals. And then finally on the contract, clearly it's important that once we make a decision, we are confident that we have a contract that supports the ambition that the procurement enabled, that was identified and pursued through the procurement process. So we will be committed to a contract which is both fair and reasonable for both sides. The expectation is that we will share that at the outset of the procurement, and there will be a parallel work stream that allows comments from all bidders on the document, such that by the time we get to the point of making a final award decision, all bidders are bidding on the basis of the same contract, and everyone is entered into a contract which is fair and appropriate in the circumstances. Thank you for your time today. I hope you find that useful, and it gives you some understanding of what will be expected of you as we approach the start of the process in late April. And now I'd like to hand you over to Sharon. Thanks now.